we are core group 4, sorry, and we're going to be talking about images that we have taken away from our volunteering place, which is Ronald McDonald House. Johnny, you want to start?
Yeah. One image that really struck with me when I was there was last weekend when Michael and I were organizing bookshelves. There was a family, and the dad was watching TV, and then there were 2 kids that were running around and playing with the toys down there, and just seemed like very energetic and very happy. And it really struck me that they're going through a really rough patch in their life with a family member in the hospital, and they seem to be very optimistic about their situation. And it really struck me because I know a lot of people that are very pessimistic about certain things. Like when things don't go right, they want to complain and do stuff, and even I fall into that sometimes. So it's really gonna that image is really gonna stick with me and remind me that, like, even though we all go through tough times, but you can remain positive even in the darkest of them. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, what I'm going to remember is that I volunteered on Sunday mornings, and so I was there, it was the first time, so 2 weeks ago, and me and Johnny were cleaning the kitchen. We were wiping down counters, we were pulling stuff out of the drawers, we were wiping down utensils and stuff, and families started coming in as the morning wore on. And it was just small groups because it's usually not huge families that are there, so it would be like a couple and their child, 1 or 2 of them, and they would make their breakfast. Maybe this time we're on, they were making lunch or whatever, and more people would come into the kitchen. The kitchen's quite big, and more little families would come into the kitchen, and they just started talking. They started talking, they started laughing. They started making a ton of noise. There were kids running around all over the place. Me and Johnny are scared of stepping on them. And everyone was just like so together. And it's kind of like those ridiculous holidays where a huge family is in one place and the kitchen's not big enough, even though it's huge. That's what that reminded me of. And, everything wasn't exactly as it would be elsewhere because, this is a place of hard times. This is where, kids come when they're sick, when they need to go to the hospital, when someone in their family is in the hospital. And you could tell, they couldn't maybe all make the same foods because they were having issues, or maybe they couldn't all be talking about the same things because they weren't from the same places, but they were still so together. And they were still making each other happy. They still found something in common, even though they were going through a terrible time. And that was helpful for even me, and I talked to Johnny, and it looked like the same for him because it gave a purpose to what we were doing. We are helping an organization. We're being part of a little system that makes a good situation out of a really terrible one, and that is such a great purpose that's going to stick with me because it makes me realize that I'm a part of something that has a lasting impact and that's going to affect people's lives completely.
For me, it was last weekend when I was there. There's a mom there who, her son is in NICU, and she's from a town about an hour and a half north of here. And she also had her older daughter visiting, and it was like the first time in several weeks she had seen her older daughter, and one of the first times that her daughter was going to meet her little brother who is in the NICU. So they were all pretty excited about it. And the mom I was in the kitchen cleaning, and the mom was drinking coffee and kind of talking about how they were going to go to the NICU to see the baby. And she just looked at me and showed me her phone and said, "See, this is my son," and was showing me pictures of him. And so that hit me because I know what it's like to have a baby in NICU. My youngest son was in NICU, so I kind of know those feelings of leaving a baby at the hospital and being kind of uncertain about what's going to happen. And it can be scary, and just her not being able to see her daughter or her family because she lives so far away. I was lucky enough that we lived right downtown, so I was pretty close to the hospital, and I didn't have to do that. And I can't imagine what it would be like to not have my family there, with me. So it's really neat that we're helping this organization that kind of makes its own family, in a sense. The people that are there are kind of in the same boat, so they kind of make their own little community. And that's really neat to see, and it's really inspiring, even when we're just doing small things like vacuuming or wiping down counters. We're a part of that community in some way, so that was really neat.
Well, I always went there on Fridays, so I couldn't really see many family members, but the image that I will have, I will remember is every time when I came, Renee, the staff member, she would open the door and give me a really big smile and welcome me and make me feel really accepted, and it really made me feel good. And the other image that I have is working with the volunteers, with the volunteer who had physical disability, and I could see how certain tasks, how difficult they were for her, even if they were very easy for me. And so I felt like to help her right away, but I needed to step back and let her do it, so she could feel good about herself. So that was really a learning experience for me, and something that I will remember.
An image that stuck with me is when I served on Monday. Sarah, the same girl you're talking about, showed me all around the building, and we just did a couple things like cleaning up the kitchen and restocking shelves and stuff. But as we were doing the work, she just told me all about her life, and she said that she'd been in an accident that resulted in her physical disabilities, and when she was in the hospital recovering, her parents stayed at a Ronald McDonald house, and I just thought it was really cool that the Ronald McDonald house made them feel at home and welcomed them, and I just think it's cool how they want to pay it forward and help the families that are now staying at Ronald McDonald houses feel at home and welcome and safe, and I just thought that was really cool.